Acts of Faith daily meditations. Beautiful. July 1st, others. The love we desire is already within us. God is love. That is where we must begin. We cannot expect to have a loving relationship with our family-mated children until we heal our individual relationship with God and the ancient traditions of people of color or life was centered around the creative force and its elements. Our ancestors had a wholesome respect for the Creator and all creations. They honored the earth for support, the sun for life forms, and themselves as expressions of creation. Today we relate to one another's ego. We want to please one another because of who we are and what we have. We hold people in awe. We want people to fulfill our needs. We demoralize ourselves and one another for what we believe in love. God is love, that's it. God does not give presents. God does not have needs. God does not argue. God does not make threats. God does not feel abandoned. God does not deal with rejection. The only thing God does is love you, and that is the only reason you are here. The only relationship I see today is a relationship with love. Having begun in the spirit, are you now to be made perfect by the flesh? The most accurate measure of our worth is how much we value ourselves. When we value who we are sure to draw to us others who value us as much. When we are needy, deficient, lacking confidence and self-esteem, we will find ourselves in situations and among people that reinforce those values. The first step is building relationship is learning to value who we are. We cannot convince others how wonderful and marvelous we are if we do not believe it. We must first convince ourselves. If we repeatedly find ourselves in situations that we are treated badly, we are responsible, not the other person. When we find ourselves in a situation where we are not wanted, we must have the courage and confidence to leave. Our sense of worth must first come from within. When we have that, we can expect those in our relationship will value us as well. The wealth of our spirit is the light of my world. You must have love in your heart before you can have hope. At a very early age, we are taught to depend on someone else for the basic needs. When we are involved, toothless and helpless, it should be that way. As we mature, we must learn to become self-supported and self-loving. A balanced, productive being is one who learns love of self. Loving yourself has nothing to do with being selfish, self-centered and self-engrossed. It means that you accept yourself as you are and that you're willing to put your best foot forward even if the foot is big. Loving yourself means that you accept responsibility for your own development and growth and happiness. It means you set the standard of how you want to be treated. Loving yourself means accepting your strengths and weaknesses, making a commitment to work on building and correcting what needs to be done. When you love yourself, you pave the way for all that you want and need to come to you at the right time in the perfect way. I love me. Forgive and you will be forgiven. Everybody has had someone who has done them wrong. When someone hurts us, we want to hurt them back. We live with anger and thoughts of revenge. We want to see them suffer. We want them to feel that we have felt. We want them to know that they can't get away with what they did. But they did get away. If your anger keeps you stuck in the situation, when the table turns, you make mistakes. We create the pain for others and we cannot understand why they do not and cannot forgive us. Perhaps it is because there is someone we need to forgive. Forgiveness frees us from the pain of the past and moves us beyond our mistakes in the future. What you gave, you gave. What you forgive, forgiveness is there for you if you need it. I forgive everyone for everything totally and unconditionally. If you're willing to deal with the past, you can make the moment you are enriched. We are the products of our past, the environment of our childhood. And for those of us who have painful childhood, we are determined to get away from our memories. We cannot. Our past is part of our today. We carry it in our hearts. We model what we saw, heard, and experienced as children. It is called a pattern. We do what was done to us. We behave in ways we saw others behave unwittingly. What a great deal of denial. We breathe the physical, emotional, and mental patterns set by our families. The only way to stop the cycle, to break the pattern, is to go back and deal with the pain. We must relive the memories before we can erase them. We must confront the people in our minds and say how now what we could not say then. We must explore the feelings, unpack the guilt, and free ourselves from the baggage we picked up at home. The buck stops with me. You cannot belong to anyone else unless you belong to yourself. Finding and beginning a new relationship can be difficult. It is particularly difficult when we are carrying baggage from past relationship. We are told that it's not good to carry past relationship into the current ones. You know that, but how do you free yourself from that which is part of you? You don't. You just can unpack the baggage. You can look at the pain, guilt, fear. You look at it dead in the face and see what it is, and for what it is past. It is over. Without shame, without blame, you must look at what happened and know it did not have to happen again. It is only when you refuse to look, refuse to release, that we have experienced added to your baggage collection. There's another point you often forget. When moving into a new relationship, you matter. No matter how painful the past has been, you made it through. Today I am unpacking. Don't look back and don't cry. Are you stuck in the first relationship? Your fifth, your last. Most of us are stuck in the memory, ideas, pain, and trauma of our past relationship. We hold everyone responsible for the things someone did to us in the yesteryear. We can't seem to put the baggage down, overcome the disappointment, or forget the past. And we can't forgive why we end up in similar relationship, the identical situation, or with a broken heart. What we draw to ourselves is what we are. If we are hurt, angry, and pain, confused, disappointed, or lonely, we will attack mates who will bring more of what we already are. We only draw to ourselves the being of our pain. In our way is dark and dismal, we will attract our reflection. If we want to move beyond the pain of the past relationship, we must stop crying about them, stop thinking about them, stop drawing them to close us. Forgive, let go, and move on. When we go beyond where we are, we past cannot follow. I'm moving up, out, and beyond. To understand how any society functions, you must understand the relationship between the man and the woman. What type of relationship did you have with your parents? How did you really feel about them? What your relationship is or was with your parents will be reflected in the types of relationships you have in your life. It will be difficult for you to have a good relationship with women if you do not have a good relationship with your mother. When the image, thoughts, and feelings you have about your father will be reflected in your relationship with men. Your relationship with them is your model of what you expect, what is and is not acceptable. When the memories of our parents are disappointing, frightening, and or painful, we may repeat these patterns in our lives. We can break the pattern when you forgive our parents, when did the best they could, best on the pattern and model they lived with. They have hurts and pains and bad memories just like we do. Our parents are just who did the best they could with what they knew. I forgive my parents and release my patterns. A man is an idea in divine mind, though epitome of being the apex of creation. The following is a list of adjectives you use to a group of 100 women to describe men. A man is a dog, a liar, irresponsible, unfaithful, hard to communicate with, a good worker, a strong, a pain in the neck, lazy, sloppy, inconsiderate, unemotional, unreliable, not to be trusted, cheap, or used, manipulative, hard to please, massive to the head, to work crazy, to possess, they're confused about what he wants out to take advantage of women. The only thing they can really hurt a woman, hard to love, a good loveless, sex friend, stupid, hard to catch, difficult to keep, not worth there for disappointment, a waste of time, cute. When he's sleeping, better off without a woman, a joke okay to his mother. He's too smart for his own good. The last thing on my Christmas list, 12 of the women were in the long term loving relationship. 63 of the women did not know their fathers. A man is a mind thing. Whatever is in my mind, I will find in a man. A woman is an intuitive perception of the truth reflected in love in the soul. The following is a list of adjectives used by a group of 100 men to describe women. A woman is a bitch, a liar, a fickle, hard to please, a snake, a credit wrecker, pain in the ass, a mother, helpmate. God's gift to man, weak, stupid, here to serve man. Nothing without the man. Sexual object is something I don't want to have anything to do with. The spiritual, nice to have around, as tax deduction, greedy, a heartache, a headache. Capable of anything low down and dirty, frightened, jealous, to mouth, angry most of the time, confused, sweet, nice to look at, hard to handle, my mother, a fool. He thinks she's smarter than man. My best friend's a costume monger, able to make it in the white man's world, a welfare recipient, too emotional, unsure of herself, the reason I work 2 jobs. 47 of the men were in the long-term loving relationships. 11 men loved and admired their fathers. 43 admire their mothers. A woman is a mind thing. Whatever is in my mind, I will find it in a woman. Your divine mate is seeking you, and you can only meet when they. Your divine mate already exists. You are being prepared to meet one another through your many growth experiences and the purpose that is aged in your soul. The day will come when you will meet face to face. It will be crystal clear that this person is the right one. She will not need fixing. He will not require work. He will be touched in a place in your heart and the soul that until that divine day has been untouched, as you allow yourself to accept the reality that your divine will exist, it will unfold as a reality to you. You can stop looking, forcing, and trying to make it happen. You need not fret or one or allow yourself to be lonely because your divine mate already exists. You can stop looking for him and her. Instead, spend your time looking within. When you get to a place in yourself that is peaceful, find out your true mate will be revealed. My divine mate will be revealed to me in the divine way at the divine time. And if you are having a bad day, get another one and get it quick. If you're having a bad day, it is a personal problem the world does not have to deal with. If you get on with the wrong side of the bed, it is no fault of but your own. It is the time of the week, the month, the year for you that you would have to the world do. It is never an excuse to be rude, cruel, or abusive to anyone. To simply say I'm having a bad day is not appropriate to scream, swear, lash out, or do things that have no place among civilized people because you have something else on your mind. You cannot abuse or traumatize others because we are facing a challenge. Life is a challenge, African tradition. Does not matter what difficulties we face. Our worth is measured on how we face those difficulties. If we are to grow and reach our fullest potential, we have no time to rest on bad days. Today is a new day. I refuse to get off to a bad start. The ruin of the nation begins in the homes of its people. If you have an argument at your home, chances are you will have one at work. If you feel unsupported at home, your friends are likely to abandon you. If you are an operative, cooperative, unreliable, disrespectful at home, you carry the same energy everywhere you go. Home is the foundation of everything we see and do in the world and relationship. For people of color, culture mandates that one can make home a primary concern of the heart. The heart creates love, support, cooperation, nurturing, and peace. Home is the first school. Let us put our hearts, mind, bodies, and souls back into our homes. The first step toward eliminating the violence in the streets. My home is my salutation. The needle pulls the thread. When we make strides in life, we face obstacles and challenges. There are times when that which is most familiar to us will present the most challenging opposition. Our family, if our life moves away from what is familiar to our family, they become frightened. We will leave them. They may use their fears and concerns as a reason not to support us. And they may not understand why we cannot do the things the way they have always been done, the way they are comfortable with doing things. We want our family to support and encourage our dreams, but if they don't, it is okay. Sometimes we must step out alone, make a new way, start the path others will follow. Our job is to let our families know that we love them, keep them informed as they get to be. When possible, we should invite them to join us in the process. However, if you choose to stay on the same old beaten path, there is no obligation to march with them and wearing the fibers of a new world. People come into your life for a reason, a season, and a lifetime. When you figure out which it is, you know exactly what to do. Wouldn't it be wonderful if our first love could be our one and only love forever and ever? Amen. Well, surely you know by now that life is not like that. People come and go in lives, taking a little piece of our heart with them, as difficult or painful as it may be. That is exactly what they should do. We have more than enough love to share and spread, and we should give it freely. When we love for a reason, feel good to give love because we gave what we gave. When we have a seasonal love, it is a whirlwind love preparing us for something better. When those very special people come into our lives, we can and do love them forever. Loving is not what causes our emotional damage. It is the attempt to throw people out of our hearts and minds. When we love reasonably for the season we are in, we will undoubtedly enjoy a lifetime of loving. I know why you are in my life and I love you for that reason. Beautiful. A reason? When someone is in your life for a reason, it is usually to meet a need you have expressed outwardly or inwardly. They have come to assist you through a difficult to provide you with guidance and supposed to aid you physically, emotionally, and spiritually. They may seem to be godsend, and they are. They are. There for a reason. You need them to be. Then, without any wrongdoing on your part or an inconvenient time, that person will say or do something to bring the relationship to an end. Sometimes they die, sometimes they walk away, sometimes they act out and force you to take a stand when we must realize it is one, our need we have been made. Our desire fulfilled, their work is done. The prayer you sent up has been answered, and it is now time to move on next. When a prayer is answered, there is no need to cry. A season. When people come into your life for a reason, it is because your turn has come to share, grow, and become. They may bring you an experience of peace and make you laugh. They may teach you something you have never done. They usually give you an unbelievable amount of joy. You believe that it is real, but only for a season. In the same way that leaves must fall from the trees or the moon becomes full and then disappears, your seasonal relationship will end at a differently appointed time. When that time comes, there's nothing you can say or do to make it work. There's more one. You can blame, you cannot fix it, you cannot explain it. The harder you flesh, the worse it will feel. When the end of the season comes in a loving relationship, the only thing for you to do is let go. For everything, there is a season. A lifetime. Lifetime relationships are a bit more difficult to let go of. When a parent, child, or a spouse is involved, the wounds are very deep. With the end of a relationship becomes, you may feel that it would be better off dead. The pain seems to grow, the memories linger, a part of your life is dying. We relive every painful moment in an attempt to understand. Your job is not to understand, your job is to accept. Lifetime relationships teach us lifetime lessons, those things we must build upon in order to have a solid emotional foundation. They are the most difficult lessons to learn, the most painful to accept, yet they are the things we need in order to grow. When you're facing a separation on the end of a lifetime relationship, the key is to find the lesson, love the person anyway, move up and put what you have learned to use in all other relationships. A new life begins when a part of life ends. The most frightening part of helping is getting involved. With all that goes on in our daily life, we may believe that we don't have time to get involved with other people and their issues, yet we must. Perhaps we think that if we do not see or hear about the problems, they will go away, but they will not. People of color are communal people. They means the community is of a lifetime. African, Latin, Native American, Asian culture are the cultures of we, not I. We cannot consider ourselves free, prosperous, successful as peace as long as anyone who looks at us suffers. We cannot help everybody, but you can help somebody. You cannot do everything, but you can do something. If you each participate in a cause, if we each battle like ill, if we each contribute time or money to someone for something, a great deal could be done. If we each shoulder a bit of the responsibility for us, we can progress faster. I will do my part for us. Someone was hurt before you, wronged before you, hungry before you, frightened before you, beaten before you, humiliated before you, raped before you, yet someone survived. What do you do when it seems as if the people want to stay in their pain? They have a story to tell and they tell you every chance they get. If you get to the point that they become so entrenched in their pain that they stop looking out for a way out, well, believe it or not, they may like where they are. Our job is to leave them there. You can point the way out of pain, but you cannot force them to get out. You can support them and move beyond their limitation, but you cannot make them move. Movement requires learning from painful experiences by recognizing the role of we have played. If we continually tell the story without drawing a conclusion, we become the victims of the trauma of the pain. You can do anything you choose to do. No person is your friend who demands your silence and denies your right to grow. Have you ever wondered why people hide the dirty laundry in the closet of your mind? Somewhere deep inside, you may feel honored when you are entrusted with another's downside. When you fail to realize this, the knowledge creates responsibility. When you are asked to remain silent about the secret or the hidden act of anarchy, you are lured into collusion. If people demand your loyalty, presence, and participation in that which is detrimental to them, you create a detriment to yourself when you are dependent. Your dreams swallow the truth. Give the will of others precedence over your own. You sell yourself out. Be aware of the person who asks you not to tell anyone. The thing they cannot keep to themselves, be responsible to yourself and let them know you are talking to the wrong person. It goes without saying that your friends are usually the first to discuss your personal business behind your back. If there is anything you don't want people to know about you, don't tell anyone. We give people much responsibility when we entrust them with our business. Sometimes they repeat the information mindlessly. Other times they use our story to make a point. We should only tell our problems to people who can help. 80% of the people we talk to can't help us. The other 20% really don't care. We are quick to accuse our friends for betraying us. But we do not consider. Do we consider how we betray ourselves? We lie to ourselves and on ourselves and then allow ourselves to believe it will not come back. It does go through the mouth and actions of someone else. In those special times when you must talk about your private affairs, ask the other person if he is willing to keep your confidence. If he repeats it, then the responsibility is his, not for telling your business, but for not keeping his word. I will only tell you what I want everybody to know. Two men in a burning house must not stop to argue. It is not your duty or responsibility to change the mind of other people. The nature of their thinking is that once are limited to their experience, in your presence, they have an opportunity to learn about you and perhaps to grow. Allow them to experience you as well-grounded, compassionate being who is capable of listening, learning, sharing, and growing. This is your responsibility to yourself, to your life, and the other person. You can be an example of the peaceful, vibrant, valuable contributor of your ancestors' work. Like them, you can contribute to the enlightenment of the world when you spend less time worrying about what others think and more time creating positive change. Every experience is an opportunity to grow. Offensive words that come from your mouth, if repeated, can make bitter enemies. Every mouth has two lips. The high lip gives you to praise, the low lip gives to gossip. When we do not guard what we say or to whom we say it, we can never be sure the lip will repeat the words. Which lip will repeat the words? The ancient Egyptians gave warning about the unguarded movement of the mouth. They understood the destructive potential of the words on the wrong lip. We may not be familiar with these ancient teachings, but we do know the impact of the low lip. Speak highly of everyone and say nothing at all. Repeat only that which you have a duty to repeat, and repeat it in the noble intent. If something you say comes back the wrong way, correct it immediately. If you quarrel with family or friends, speak to them directly. Temper your words with a consciousness of empathy. Speak the way you would want to be spoken to. Remember that your parents gave you a blessing of lips. Speak to them with an attitude of gratefulness. I have spoken truly and done it rightfully. No investigation, no righteous proof. Very often we find ourselves involved in conversations of the he said, she said variety. We may not know the parties involved, or we may have heard some other version of the same story from another source they had. The sad thing is we use this information as the basis of our opinions and interactions with the people involved. There is an old African saying, ears don't pass head, which means we should never let what goes into our ears override good common sense. Common sense says that we should accept people for who they are based on their individual experience with them. Although often the side of the story, this is not told of the other person's side. It is our best interest to give everyone a fair start regardless of what we have heard about them. We should make our own mental inventory, identify our negative experiences we ever had. If there are none, we should commit ourselves to be open and deal with people as they deal with us, and willing to give everyone a fresh start. No one can judge you unless you let them. Don't shoot on the people, and don't let them shoot on you. Shoot is a judgment we make based on the experience of perceptions. When we pass on to the other people, we are judging them. Shoot is an expression of fear. It says that our ways is right way. We may beyond that. You might prove I'm wrong. Should is the way we control others to make them think or behave the way we want them to. Should takes on a guilt trip and limits our capacity to grow. If we do only things we should do, we will never learn, and if we should do it, we could do it. Should limits us to what's comfortable. Should keeps us in a place that is familiar. Should makes us responsible to someone other than ourselves. When we know that is not the way we should live. I should do only those things that feel right for me. What is the quality of your intent? Certain people have a way of saying that shake us at the core, even when the words do not seem harsh or offensive. The impact is shattering when we could be experiencing the intent behind the words. When we intend to do, we do. When we intend to do harm, it happens. When each of us come to realize that our intent always comes through, we cannot sugarcoat the feelings in our hearts of hearts. The emotion is the energy that motivates us. We cannot ignore what we really want to create. We should be honest and do it the way we feel it. What we owe to ourselves and everyone around is to examine the reasons of our true intent. My intent will be evident in the results. Each time we have sex, we must be innocent and open. Sexual intercourse is an act of profound creation. It is meshing and weaving together of the mother, father, force of the creator. Whatever we hold in our heart, the mother and the mind of the father during the sexual act, we will be created in our lives. Sex is anger, will create angry words, angry situations that must be resolved. If we are in denial about ourselves and who our mate truly is in our life, then sex will create denial in the relationship. Sex is self-sacrifice, will create a domain. Whoever makes the sacrifice will be walked on. Sex is confusion, creates choice and more confusion about how and why we want sex. Unconscious sex doing is just to be doing it creates a violation in the subconscious mind. When we create unconscious sex doing is just to be doing it. Creation of violence in the subconscious mind. When we create children during misguided intercourse, the child brings the life. The state of well-being at the time of that. We can heal and strengthen ourselves during our conscious sexual activity, but we must know what we are doing and why. Sexual intercourse is a creative expression in which I fully participate. Instant intimacy is very often followed by desperate disillusion. We can become so emotionally changed by the person that we allow ourselves to be intimate before we know who that person really is. When we give our bodies to another being, we are giving them a piece of our souls. We might want to take the time to find out if we deserve it. Sexual activity is not the only way to let someone know we like them. Sharing information, supporting each other's goals, giving our lifetime and energy without expectation sends a much more stronger message than sex. We must take time to know the other person, understand what they want, where they are going, and figure out if we want to be in the same place. When we lay down our head too early in the game, we are apt to end up with a message up ahead. I will choose time over intimacy. Everything, even darkness and silence, has its wonders. A history of abuse and labeling has created a tremendous strain on the sexual consciousness of people of color. The ancestor memory of being labeled as animals to be studied and read has made us fearful of our sexuality. What we must accept and learn to understand is that we can be sexual and still be spiritual, even in the abuse of the past. People of the color were capable of loving and sharing this love as a sexual expression. We prayed for our freedom and the safety of our lives. And we still make love, although the abuses have changed, many of our peers have not. Right now, are many people of color who become anxious, nervous, and uncomfortable in the conversation about sex. We do it half, but we hide it. We make jokes about it in private. We tell stories about it in secret. When it comes to talking and sharing about sex, we shy away. Try this. Sex is wonderful. Sex is good. I like sex. Sex likes me. But don't take my word for it. Try it for yourself with the lights on. I am free to be a sexual being. Let them wait, and wait they do. All relationships are like contractual agreements. Each party expects to receive certain things. In our intimate relationship, sex is like a signature on the contract. Unfortunately, many of us sign the contract without reading the fine print. By the time we discover what kind of deal we are being offered, we are bound by our signature. Some contracts have the 90-day grace period. This gives the parties the opportunity to examine the merchandise, rest the service, make any necessary adjustments, or go out of the agreement. It makes sense to apply the grace period of our intimate relationship. We may need time to assess behavior, true intentions and the performance history of the prospects. The fine point issues such as habits, motive, and background cannot be seen with closed eyes. I'm willing to read the fine print. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And we loved it, right? Nice. Keep it up. Acts of Faith daily meditations. Beautiful. July 1st, others. The love we desire is already within us. God is love. That is where we must begin. We cannot expect to have a loving relationship with our family-mated children until we heal our individual relationship with God and the ancient traditions of people of color. All life was centered around the creative force and its elements. Our ancestors had a wholesome respect for the Creator and all creations. They honored the earth for support, the sun for life force, and themselves as expressions of creation. Today we relate to one another's ego. We want to please one another because of who we are and what we have. We hold people in awe. We want people to fulfill our needs. We demoralize ourselves and one another for what we believe in love. God is love, that's it. God does not give presents. God does not have needs. God does not argue. God does not make threats. God does not feel abandoned. God does not deal with rejection. The only thing God does is love you, and that is the only reason you're here. The only relationship I see today is a relationship with love. Having begun in the sprint, are you now to be made perfect by the flesh? The most accurate measure